Hello, everyone. Welcome to the August 18th, 2022 edition of the Helm Developer Weekly Call. And like every week, we follow the CNCF community guidelines. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do not have any announcements on the agenda, but if any of you would like to make an announcement right now, doesn't have to be Helm related. Okay, no announcements. Then we have our first discussion item, which is, Karen, thank you for putting that in. Would you like to talk about the KubeCon Helm project meeting?
Yeah, so I asked maybe like a week or two ago about when we would want to host our Helm project meeting at KubeCon. So basically this is just like I think either 60 or 90-minute room that they give us to like basically, to like kind of at our disposal, but basically to like meet with the community. And we had talked about if we wanted to use that basically as open office hours, and then maybe kind of kick off any conversations that might come up that would be relevant to Helm 4. Originally, when I asked, Scott mentioned that he couldn't do Monday because there was some Flux stuff happening on Tuesday or GitOps stuff happening on Tuesday. So then I requested it be Monday, but then Matt Farina came to me and mentioned that like the Cloud Native WASM Day event is happening on Monday. So we'll likely lose some of the folks that normally help out from Fermion. And then also I think there's a security thing. So Josh would likely not be able to help. And then also Matt has something personal on Monday. So I'm just trying to figure out which day would be best if we were to do this, Monday or Tuesday, or if everyone is just going to be stretched too thin and that we should forego the project meeting. So I guess like kind of getting a sense of who will be available to help out, like who will be on site would be super helpful for me to know. Yeah, I think Martin mentioned that he won't be able to make it to the event. So of the people who could help out, like when people would be available. I know the week is stretched, like it's just like super packed with like co-located events in KubeCon itself. So I wouldn't be sad if we just didn't do it because we'll also still have our project booth during the week at KubeCon.
So yeah, I've got a day zero or colo event on Tuesday, and I know Andy does as well. He's got a separate one, not the Andy on this call, but the other Andy. That's so on the call. I know, right? Sorry. You're like, how do you know my schedule?
Yeah,
I don't.
I think Fairwinds might be doing something at KubeCon that day. So I was like, maybe you know something I don't, but I won't be there. So
so I wonder if, and then Monday is always hard too, if you haven't planned to be there for Monday. Karen, is it possible maybe during the week, and then people, instead of going to a session, can come to project office hours on site?
No, they generally don't. I think the organizers for KubeCon don't generally like create any programming beyond the already like ongoing talks, as they don't want it to compete with the talks. So all the project meetings, like spaces that they're offering, are all either on Monday or Tuesday. I mean, like I said, we'll have our project booth anyway, so like we will have a physical space for people to come to. So I don't mind if we just kind of like route, basically route the traffic that would have gone to this meeting to the project booth itself, because it sounds like neither Monday or Tuesday are better overall.
And that's tough routing to the project booth, because then you have to make sure, you have kind of a quorum if you're going to have discussions like that we talked about for the project office hours. I wonder how much time do you have to decide?
I mean, probably the sooner the better. The deadline was I think last Friday of putting in the request for Monday or Tuesday. So I mean, at this point I'm like a week, or like I already put in the request, so it would just be a matter of like whether or not they can accommodate the physical space of adjusting us. Yeah, so I think we can kind of continue to think about this. I'm just not sure much will change given like people will only continue to get more committed to things.
Right.
I mean,
So-
it is only like 60 minutes to 90 minutes. So it's not like it's not even a half day event, right? Or like a whole day event. So it's been a little bit hard trying to get people to kind of share what their schedule will look like.
You know, as we're all finalizing our schedules too, that's hard. So for the people that are on this call that aren't going to be at KubeCon, is if there was a separate 60 to 90 minute session that delved further into, you know, kind of like an office hour or discussion on Helm 4 topics, or I wonder how much traffic that office hours would get. Karen, I mean, okay, first let me open it up to everybody and then ask you again, Karen.
I can't
Alright,
say I
Andrew.
have a good answer to that. Sorry. Haven't thought about it much, but yeah. Don't have an opinion. I'm sorry.
That is a valid opinion.
Depends if it's virtual or not for me, actually. I want to travel to the States for like one meeting, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, I think if we I think the open office hour is basically just people asking questions. So that's what would happen at the booth anyway. But if there were to be kind of any conversations around Helm 4, we could always set a time on like a specific date and be like at the booth, like on Wednesday, you know, from 2 to 3, we're specifically going to talk about this. So we can kind of, just set that agenda for a specific time to kind of get that quorum. If that's something we want to do. If we want to have those conversations.
I think that's a good idea. I wonder if throughout the week to drive more traffic to the booth too is set up different.
Yeah, discussion
Right.
topics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll look into that. I'll just leave it as is for now. That being that it's scheduled for Monday, and then if anyone has any other thoughts, I'll adjust it as we get closer. Yeah, that's it for me.
Nice. Thank you. Does anybody else have a discussion topic?
I believe the Alan on the call is the Alan that I met this week. Yay! Hey, Alan.
Hey, Karen, it is.
Great to see you. Scott, Andrew, and myself were at a Helm meetup on Tuesday evening. So Alan came to the meetup, kind of, new to I think fairly new to open source, if I remember correctly. So Alan kind of came and was kind of poking his head around and learn more about like how to contribute to open source. Everyone welcome Alan. Alan, do you want to introduce yourself? You don't have to if you don't want either.
No, I can, sure. Hey, everybody. So yeah, Alan, living in Brooklyn, New York. I work for JP Morgan. I build a software engineer for building out the internal Kubernetes platform that we offer our developers, and currently moving to offer the same kind of platform on AWS infrastructure in the coming months. So I was just interested in when I saw the meetup. This has always been in the back of my mind, trying to get into the community and see how it's done. And this was just a perfect time to learn how to do that. So I'm here to, slowly see if I can find a way to contribute and time. And I also, we brought up in the meetup, like JP has a pretty strict policy of how to contribute. So I have to like research that really well before I know what I'm allowed to do or get approval or whatever it is. But that's just some of my background.
Well, it's good to see you here. Thanks for joining.
Welcome.
We usually have a few more people on the call. It is summer though, so I think people are trying to get their vacations in before, yes, like, yeah, before summer ends. But yeah, good to see you. Yeah, we do these meetings every Thursday, so hopefully we'll see you again.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. And it would be great to hear more about how you're using Helm or, you know,
Yeah, totally. So I brought it up on Tuesday also. I mean, I'm new to cloud computing, software engineering, also maybe 3.5 years now. But in this new role that I'm in, 1.5 years with Kub, it's completely new. And so I'm super overwhelmed, still overwhelmed, right? 1.5 years in, and the stuff that we do with Helm, it's not a lot, but I know some of the folks that use it. I want to now like pick their brains because I've in the past heard them kind of I mean, it's a great tool, right? And capability, but I want to hear what some of the pain points are. That I think I've heard something about templating, but don't quote me on that. I got to really have to sit down with them and understand that. And now that I've learned a little bit about the project and seeking to contribute, maybe I can like put those two together and see if there's maybe with the various PRs that you guys have, maybe it's already addressing some of that stuff, or look to see where we can improve whatever the pain points are for my team. Yeah.
well, it'd be awesome to hear or find out if you can contribute, to code, and then just even reviews in the hips or even reviewing what is there. So the enhancement proposals, just even if you can't comment on them, if you come to this meeting and say, hey, this is really useful, or I don't understand why, this is happening, or anything like that would definitely help the community and be,
Awesome.
a way to get involved as well. We'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, so any other topics? Might be a quick call then.
I have a hip that I'm trying to get merged in, but I can't get the person who opened it to rebase it. So I will leave that for the next meeting.
Is that one of the maintainers, or?
No, it's actually a former coworker of mine who's now very, very busy at Epic Games, and I'm trying to nudge him to rebase it. I may offer to take it over for him if he wants, if he doesn't have the time for it. But it's PR 224 on the community repo for adding the repository URL to the release object, so that we can actually trace real sources of charts rather than guessing what repository they came from, if they came from a public repository. So I don't have permission to edit the doc, but I can drop the link in as a comment.
If you drop your personal email into the chat, we can add you to, or which email you'd like to use, we can add you to the editors list. I know
Cool.
you come frequently to this call.
Trying to. Some weeks it's not possible, but I try. So.
Well, we appreciate every time that you are able to join us.
Philip and I got together and did some PR review this morning as well, which was great. So I'm starting to get more comfortable with that.
Nice. Well, Alan, that's another way if you're ever interested in getting involved, and while you're finding out how, what actual code is to do PR reviews. They have, you want to talk about it, Andy? I haven't been involved in any of them. I know Scott recently.
Yeah, there's a great YouTube video from the Helm Contributors Summit last year that I think will cover it better than I can here. But I mean, basically, Philip and I got together and grabbed the 2 open PRs from the last 24 hours and took a look at them and left our comments. We're not members of the repo or anything like that yet, but anybody can review a PR. So we went in and took a look, tested it, made some comments, raised our eyebrows a little bit at adding JQ to template functions, things like that. So I wish Scott was here because he's much better at talking about this kind of stuff. But here's a link. I'll drop it in the Zoom chat for the contributor summit.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll take
That's
a look.
part 2, which I think has more detail about PR review. Part 1 is more about like the whole community and how it's organized and stuff, which is a great thing to watch as well. But this specifically covers PR review a little bit. So
I can also send the link to the conversation with Scott in the Slack channel. There are like the link to part 1 is in this conversation, and also some other videos for like introduction to the code base, depending on like how familiar you are with the setup of other Go projects, then this might or might not be interesting to you. So
That's
So are you both watching the Helm Slack in the Kubernetes channel or in Kubernetes Slack? I'm just wondering if Alan or somebody else wants to review PRs with you. Is that someplace that he could reach out and say, hey, when are you doing this? Or
yeah, the
think-
Helm dev channel. I try to keep track of. You can always DM me as well in that Slack. I'm better at DMs because they actually give me a little red bubble, and I live in Slack all day long, and so I don't always notice all the messages. There's a lot.
And just to be clear, because sorry, my Zoom is on this Android tablet that's not user friendly, and for the Slack, that's within the Kubernetes Slack,
Yeah.
and then you have a channel, I guess, a Helm channel.
I think there's 2 Helm channels, right? There's Helm Dev and Helm Users. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and so Helm dev is where the PR stuff goes.
Are you Alan Diaz in the Kubernetes Slack?
Should be, yeah. I'm logging in right now. I don't live in Slack because we don't really use it at work, and like I occasionally pop in there, but I forget what I signed up with.
Gotcha. Well, if it is you, I sent you a DM. If not, somebody
If it
else is
looks
going to
like
be
me,
very confused that I'm waving at them right now. But
Okay.
So yeah,
So-
I guess next time we do such PRV reviews, it would be good if one of the maintainers is also there, that like the reviews get kind of an official character in the end, right? So it's not just the black and white check mark, but it's actually the green check mark. Yeah, but this week, yeah, Scott was busy with the summit, so yeah, we just took that, and yeah, better than nothing, I guess, what we did.
always better than nothing. Okay. Well, thank you. It'd be great to hear next time if you all got together again and reviewed more PRs. That'd be awesome. Okay.
And the rest of you are, I assume, like maintainers or some sort of contributor to the Helm project?
not me. I'm
Not a contributor?
not yet. I mean, I'm working my way towards that. I may have contributed in the past. I don't know. I've been using Helm for like 5 or 6 years now, so it's possible. But
I feel that if you're leaving comments on PRs and you're doing PR reviews and you're coming to these calls, I would still say that you're a contributor. Obviously,
I
contributing.
agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
always-
even don't want to open any PRs right now because like there are so many open already, right? Feels like you make the situation worse.
Yeah.
More like trying to help with reviewing. Otherwise, I could also contribute code, but feels like it's more important to get the ones in that are already there.
Yeah. Okay. But definitely, I mean, put one in if you think that, you know, you really need it. And make sure that.
Yeah. If I will find whatever a bug out of bounds, whatever call, then definitely I will file a PR. But
Mhm.
like,
All right, so for next week, would anybody like to sign up for moderator notes? Again, PR review, I guess I'll put all you 3 down as maybes. And then
Yeah.
triage, we might have to wait for figure out triage.
Now that I'm in the doc, I volunteered to take notes for next week.
Yay.
I
And
can
then-
do moderator if no one wants, or if no one else feels super inclined to do it.
I won't be around next week, unfortunately. But I will be back the week after. Well, thank you, everybody. And then we'll ping the maintainers in the other Slack or the other channel for triage.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
all right.
Thanks, y'all.
Afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.